buddies? It's your girl, AyChristene, and today we're checking out Pokemon Sent Me to Japan. Links down below to become a member or patron. This is by This is by JaidenAnimations. I'm excited to hear her story, you know? They sent her to Japan. Why they send her? Not saying that she doesn't deserve it, but I mean, this is random. So what were the steps and moments that led up to this moment? I'm excited to hear her story, and hopefully we get some IRL footage of her in Japan. I'm super excited. I want to go to Japan so bad. So bad. I want to go to Japan. But yeah. Links down below to become a member or patron to get the uncut reaction of all the shows that we're checking out. Now let's get started.
Pokemon sent me every single one of their Gen 5 sitting cuties for me to rank. Turns out they really liked that video. So much, in fact, that they said,
didn't see this video.
Awesome video.
That's a video I gotta check out.
To watch the Pokemon 2023 World Championships. Our treat. You won't have to pay for your flights or hotel or nothing. I've been to Japan once before in my entire life, and it was back in 2018 with my family.
Oh,
we did a
that's
bunch
cute.
of fun little Japanese tourist things. It was a phenomenal trip. But ever since then, I've always wanted to go back and do all the awesome nerdy stuff Japan has to offer that I didn't want to bother my family with. At the time, they didn't even know who Luffy was. They would have been so lost. So when Pokemon extended their hand and offered to fly not only me, but Jacob out to attend the biggest Pokemon tournament in the world, I jumped for joy. Free trip to Japan! The tournament was only going on for a single weekend, but Jacob and I planned to stay there for 3 whole weeks to do a bunch of said extra nerdy stuff. We were pumped. Eventually the time came, Jacob and I were packing up all our stuff, and decided we both would bring an extra suitcase so we could treat ourselves a bit and buy a bunch of cool stuff while we're there. Don't judge us. We're anime and Nintendo-loving impulse buyers going to Japan. A game plan was needed. We were being responsible. 2 extra suitcases was definitely gonna be enough. Yep. Equipped with our extra luggage, we headed off to the airport. Pokemon straight up gave us business class seats. We didn't ask for them or anything. So when we boarded, we realized we had the seats where you could lay down.
Yes, business class is the best.
Divider that acted like a car window, so I could roll it down and bother Jacob whenever I wanted. A little 11-hour flight later, and we were in Japan. It was time to have the best trip of our lives.
Oh, it was only 11 hours for your flight?
I had the most incredible trip and got to do things I won't ever forget. And I won't, because I've now plastered it onto the internet forever. We landed midday Japan time, so we decided to go to the first thing we wanted to see while abroad. Japanese McDonald's. I couldn't order anything except fries.
I actually want to do this.
Dropped our jaws when we saw something called the Double Big Mac on the menu. I thought Americans already went big with the Big Mac, but Japan did the impossible, just to send a message. What a magical place. Let's begin with the next morning. Pokemon planned a bunch of cool
someone that I follow, and I'll talk more about it later, but she goes to McDonald's. I want to go to McDonald's. And Starbucks in Japan.
Jacob and I woke up early for it and missed the bus they had for us.
Oh my gosh.
And it totally wasn't completely my fault entirely, because I hypothetically didn't read the schedule correctly and was taking my sweet time getting ready. Why would you think that? So we had to take the trains on our own to get there. Anyone that remembers my first Japan trip knows the trains were me and my family's mortal enemy #1. We kept getting it wrong, and it was failure after failure the entire trip. You'd think that with all that prior experience and struggle, I would have grown as a Japanese train understander, right? Nope, we got on the wrong train. But at least we were having a good time.
Jacob!
After a lot of freaking out and mental strain and regrets, we finally arrived at our destination, and although by the time we got there, they had already finished looking at the Pokemon Center, we were able to grab a quick snack with the group at the Pokemon Sweets Cafe. I meant to take a picture of the Pikachu waffle before I ate half its cranium, but I forgot, so this is what you get. Now that we were with the group, we were able to travel with them for the rest of the day, so we packed into the bus and headed off to a traditional tea ceremony where we were taught all about how the tea masters would make tea and tea etiquette, and all these things about the significance of tea in Japanese culture, all while getting to taste the tea master made. Again, I meant to take this picture before I took a chunk out of the little sweet they gave us, but here we are yet again.
Hilarious.
I'm just not that great at this. They also served us a really special lunch of super fancy bento boxes. Like, so fancy that the host was like, dude, I've never even had these bento boxes before.
Really?
I was super excited, But I don't mean to be ungrateful or wasteful, but the box was full of super fancy, complicated fish and seafood. I knew going to Japan I'd have to be flexible with food because it's really hard to be vegan or even vegetarian there. So I really tried to eat as much as possible.
Right, she's vegan.
Thankful. But yeah, I struggled a lot. But I still had a great time, and it was an honor. We were dropped off at the Yokohama Chinatown and left to explore a bit until dinner in a few hours. Everyone separated into groups, and Jacob, Stefan, the guy that sent me all the sitting cuties, you guys remember him, the guy named Steve, and I went and pursued the street food a bit before stumbling into a little arcade with a bunch of cray machines. I got this silly little bear minifigure.
Oh, that sounds so cute.
So I decided to innocently carry him around in my pocket for the entirety of the trip. You know, because it was silly. This single action severely changed the course of my mental stability going forward.
What do you mean?
You'll see soon enough. But look at these cute photos I got with him.
Oh,
we had a
he's
great
adorable.
dinner, headed back to the hotel, got to hang out with our good old Pokemon rival Jan a bit, and called it a night. The next day, we all got to do some private shopping at the Pokemon World's pop-up shop. I'll just say we bought way too much stuff that we also don't regret in the slightest. I even got this video of Jacob grabbing more and more sitting cuties as the workers kept reorganizing them to keep the display looking perfect.
Hilarious.
We walked out of there with 3 giant bags of stuff. But it's okay, because remember, we anticipated this with our extra suitcases, which I am starting to wonder if they're going to be enough, but surely we will come down. We were then all taken to the
There was something I was going to say. Hold on. There was something I was going to say. Oh, goodness. I'm only like 5 minutes in. With the, Nuzlocke. Remind me, y'all. Remind me, because I keep forgetting. I want to do a Nuzlocke. I want you guys to remind me of the Nuzlocke that I want to do, and send me information on websites to find Nuzlocke rules as far as a Nuzlocke beginner. And then number 3, which Pokemon game is probably the best to start off with as for a Nuzlocke, for my first ever Nuzlocke? Let me know down below. All right, let's continue.
The place where they make Pokemon cards. It was gorgeous in there. They had these awesome sculptures of giant Pokemon cards with crystals, and all the walls were lined with 3D card art. It felt like I was in a building with a lot of significance. Because I was. We had a tour around the building, met the TCG card testers, and were able to ask them questions about their process. Even got to have a little Q&A session with Atsushi Nagashima, the game director of the Pokemon TCG. It was funny. One of the people in our group asked how they chose which Pokemon to make cards for. A good question. And then followed it up with, I really like Mantike, but there's only 2 Mantike cards that exist. And the assistant pulled up a list of all the Pokemon Mantike cards that have ever been created, and sure enough, there were only 2. The director chuckled and was essentially like, yeah, sometimes Pokemon get lost in the cracks. We kind of just make cards of Pokemon I like. For example, my favorite Pokemon is Gengar. And you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. Also, we were able to have a Q&A session with the Pokemon card art director and 3 artists who actually draw art for the cards. That was super interesting, and I was so incredibly inspired by that discussion. But you know those Pokemon cards with the super cute clay art? That artist's name is Yuka Mori, and she was in that panel. I was so starstruck. Those are some of my favorite Pokemon cards. And not only that, but she hosted a little workshop for us where she gave us clay and taught us how to make little clay Magnemites like in this card here. Speaking of this card, she brought the actual original Magnemite for us to see. That was by far the coolest thing that I've ever gotten to be a part of. We got to meet a piece of genuine history. I felt like I was meeting the president. Also, here's me and Jacob's Magnemites that we made. Day 3 of our little Pokemon field trip, and we were taken to another Pokemon center. This time in Shibuya, which was also right across from a Nintendo store.
Oh yeah, I heard the Nintendo store.
It was like a bullet was shot through our credit cards. In the shopping center, I saw a little gacha machine with little miniature Chiikawa plushes. I was only interested in getting Chiikawa, but I decided to test my luck anyway. And I got him first try. Now I had 2 of them. Yes, the original was still in my pocket. You can safely assume he is in my pocket for the entirety of this video. I've got pictures to prove it. Jacob snapped this awesome picture of the Chiikawa brain rot taking over. When we were looking around in the Shonen Jump shop, a little Japanese boy pointed at Jacob and went, Sanji-san, before his mother quickly yanked him away, and I
What?
still to this day laugh at that interaction. Poor kid saw his first blonde guy in real life and immediately thought it was Sanji. Later that day, we also got to attend the Pokemon Symphony, where a live orchestra played Pokemon songs, and it was absolutely incredible. Video game orchestras are so cool.
Oh
It
my
always tugs
goodness.
on my heartstrings.
The
to
only
see
reason I
video
know
game
Sanji
music
is 'cause my daughter
transformed
loves
into such
Sanji.
a beautiful new art form. Highly recommend
She
attending
watches
one
One
if you
Piece.
have any favorite games or franchises. On to the first day of Worlds. It was exciting. People
Look at
flooded
her.
into the venue. We watched the opening ceremony in the crowd. Just wow. This
Her
is the
love for
whole
this makes
reason
me
why
want
we're
to like.
here.
It's infectious.
We
It
went
makes
back
me
to
want to
shopping.
dive in.
Look at this cute
Hilarious.
little Chico book I found in a nearby bookstore. At this point, we were absolutely pushing it in terms of luggage space.
Really?
And we were day 4 into a 2.5-week trip.
Oh
Our
my
shopping sprees
goodness.
until this point were very not frugal. So we cut our losses and
Okay.
bought 2 extra giant suitcases to fit
Hilarious.
everything better. Okay, we
So
knew we
they
were gonna need extra suitcases.
are
and
coming
a
back
few
with
extra
3.
couldn't hurt. Look, the flights were paid
Suitcase.
for. We were still saving money at this point, I think. That's my rationalization. I'm going with that. Also, in the mall were tons
it's
of
your
Pokemon
money.
monitors straight up playing
I'ma
the
mind my
World
business.
Championships, TCG, Pokemon Go, VGC. Japan treated Worlds like it was the Super Bowl, and it was just so cool to see one of my main interests so culturally celebrated. People of all ages would stop by to watch for a bit before going back to their shopping. I can't explain it, but
That's
it
really
just made
cool.
me very happy. We even got
I
to see
can get that.
Wolfie live on the monitors. How'd he do?
Excuse me.
He did great. Don't worry about it. Nothing happened. Look,
What
we
do you
just
mean
happy to
nothing
see our friend
happened?
on the Pokeball screen. Proud of you, Wolfie. You're so cool. The second day
Aw.
of Worlds was hype. So hype that we left Yokohama and flew to Osaka. I haven't mentioned it yet, but we actually
They
got
just
tickets
left?
to see the one and only Hatsune Miku live in concert. The real ones know how huge that is for me. I want to talk about how life-changing
I gotta
that
see
was,
this.
but I'm gonna
I
make a
don't-
whole separate video about that
Okay.
experience I'll be posting next. All I'm gonna say
Thought her hair is
is
legs.
it was the best day of my entire life. By a
Oh.
lot. Subscribe now before you miss it, just saying. I will mention, we did have to take the train to get back later that night and got super lost again.
Oh
and
my
we never
goodness.
get better at it. Don't expect anything to change in that regard. We did finally get back to Yokohama,
Hilarious.
crashed for the night, and had a nice slow morning as we got ready for finals later that day. To
Okay.
any One Piece fans who are caught up, we were in Japan for the One Piece anime episode. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
1072. We were able to turn
1070
on our
that's a
hotel
lot.
TV and watch it live. And that was so cool.
Look
I
at
don't
that.
talk about how much I love One Piece much, mainly because it doesn't really come up. But One Piece is peak, and it was an honor to be in Japan at such an iconic part of the manga
I'm so
and anime's
happy
history.
for her.
Anyway, back to Pokemon. Sorry about that. We were able to watch the final VGC match live, got to chat and eat dinner with Wolfie and some other friends, had a late night hangout with Jan again, and that was about it. Day 7 meant it was time to pack up all our stuff from the hotel, say
Okay.
goodbye to Pokemon and
Oh,
Yokohama,
look at them.
and head
They're
on
so
over to
cute.
the apartment we rented for the rest of our stay, just outside of Tokyo. At this point, we had filled up all 6 suitcases and multiple backpacks. I didn't mention
More?
it, but Pokemon gave us a truckload of gifts that we genuinely had no idea what to do with. We're
Oh,
grateful
goodness.
nonetheless. Thank you, Pokemon. But
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
the taxi ride was a bit awkward.
Oh, dear.
So, are you meeting up with some friends? No. After we got situated in the new place, we decided to look around the area and grab some lunch. And I gotta say,
I would start
the
sending
little
some of this stuff
hole-in-the-wall
home.
restaurant Jacob found was some of the best ramen I've ever had ever.
Oh.
They even made it vegetarian for me, which was
Oh, that's
extremely
nice.
kind of them.
That's
Food
nice.
modifying is a bit tricky in Japan compared to the States, so
Okay.
I was very, very thankful. And it was delicious. We then proceeded to do absolutely nothing for the rest of the day because we were
Yeah.
exhausted.
Yeah,
from
you
the
guys
trip
have
so
been doing
far.
a lot
I haven't
of
mentioned
things.
absolutely everything we'd been doing on the trip because it would be a lot of first we did this and it was cool, then we did this and it was cool. Even though
Well, we
it was
do
such
want
a
another
pleasure to
video
be
with that.
invited, I was so dead and definitely looked super not approachable or friendly to the rest of the group by the end of
Oh.
it. Sorry, guys. But neither
Aw.
time nor Japan stops for anyone, so we had to keep on chugging along.
Not
there
him
were a
slapping
bunch
her
of
up.
friends we wanted to see while in Japan,
Okay.
and one of them was Connor. He wanted to take us to what he deemed his favorite Italian place ever. I asked if it was like fancy Italian, to which I was given the answer of no.
What?
So we get there
Okay.
having a great time, and suddenly we realize Junichi Masuda, the director of Game Freak, is there having dinner. Not a fancy dinner, my ass. I then looked down to see the Freddy Fazbear FNAF t-shirt that I am wearing.
Oh,
Not
goodness.
the best dating moment to exist, but hey, what can you do? The
What
food was
can you do?
phenomenal, though. I already mentioned the best ramen I've ever had on the trip, but this was genuinely the best pasta I've ever had in my entire life.
I want to eat there.
Maybe even a top 3 meals ever for me. I don't know what the other 2 would be, but that Connor place is definitely up there. The next day, we went to the One Piece store in Shibuya and bought a lot of stuff because there was a lot of topical and hype things in there, as you could imagine. If you don't get it, go catch up and come back. Don't worry, it won't take too long. My favorite character
just like
is
the rest of my
Mihawk,
life.
But out of all the stuff the store had to offer, there were only a few stickers and a single keychain from Mihawk. I'm still mulling about that one. I just want more Mihawk. Is that too much to ask for? Even this guy got better merch. The world's greatest swordsman deserves better. I guess I'll just take my Zoro and Law stuff. That's cool too, I suppose. I also found a bunch of Chikawa stuff in a Kittyland store, and this is truly when you get to see where things start going downhill for me. I just like the funny little cartoon bear thing.
He's so cute and chunky.
I don't remember what we did the rest of the day. I think we just crashed and passed out. This trip, as surreal as it's been so far, has been absolutely taking a toll on me, and I desperately needed to just not move or talk or exist for a bit. We were doing so many different things that were all awesome, and hanging out with so many different people that were all awesome, but man, I am not built for extended periods of that much excitement and socializing.
It's a
as
lot.
Much as I would like to change this fact, I'm also not a very active person. I know,
hilarious.
Up until this trip, I was practically sitting down 24/7, working all the time to prep as much work as possible so I could have a guilt-free 3 weeks off. And my muscles were definitely starting to decay at that point. I looked at my phone's step meter thing, and there was one day where I literally got 300 steps. That's pathetic. And suddenly, I'm logging over 20,000 daily. My body was
that's a lot.
What the hell are you doing out there?
320,000 is wild.
We were in Japan during the hottest, most humid time of the year. Every time we left the air-conditioned luxury of a building, we would immediately be drenched in sweat. Look, I'm used to the heat. I grew up in Arizona, but even this was too much.
Oh, wow,
so,
really?
Crash and burn
humid. I wonder, for us in Florida,
was a bit
how are we comparatively?
It felt like a slightly worse version of the one in California because of the oddly spaced layout and surprisingly empty vibe. We did go to a Stitch-themed show thing, and as we were walking in, a worker stopped us and said, "Oh, excuse me, Stitch only speaks Japanese," like warning us it's not super tourist friendly. But I just think the statement of Stitch only speaks Japanese is hilarious. We went in anyway, and yep, Stitch only spoke Japanese. Yeah, overall, it was not the best thing we did, but apparently, I didn't know this, Japan has 2 Disneys. Disneyland and Disney Sea.
I heard Tokyo Disney Sea is better.
Unanimously deemed the worst of the 2.
Right.
So, oops.
I've heard that Disney Sea is really good.
2 more rest days where we just turned to
and
ash,
I want to see
then
that.
up and at 'em, back to Osaka we go. This time we went to an Eve concert. Besides Hatsune Miku, the Japanese band Eve is the only other concert I've said I wanted to go see.
I thought she was talking about Eve the rapper.
Songs. It's always such beautiful animation. And by the way, they're the ones who sang the season 1 Jujutsu Kaisen anime opening theme, if you're lost. Earlier in the trip, Jacob just so happened to look up if they were doing a concert while we were there, and lo and behold, they were. He got some totally not scalped tickets, which turned out to be a super complicated process. So thank you, Jacob. You're the bestest friend I've ever had. Thank you for going through the trenches for silly old me. Anyway, the concert was so incredible. The atmosphere was fantastic. They had awesome visual effects going on. The glow bands a lot of people bought were perfectly synced to the music and colors on the stage, which really enhanced the experience. The music was great, which, I mean, of course it was. That was the whole reason we went.
I gotta check out Eve. I don't remember the first season
video, but Japanese encores are so much different from the American ones. They're so quiet and polite. There is pretty much no screaming and cheering. It was just a long applause with a semi-whisper chant of encore, encore. And they also made us wait like 5 minutes for them to come back out. My hands were getting itchy just from clapping so much. That's how long it took.
Hilarious.
And then when they finally came out, they ended up doing like 5 extra songs. I mean, I'm not complaining, but after the 4th time thinking, man, that was a great last extra song. Well, time to head home. Wait, another. It starts
Really?
getting a bit comedic. This is just a side tangent, but Jacob went off to use the bathroom before the show started and came back 10 minutes later like, dude, this is crazy, but it took me a bit longer to find a bathroom because there were so many extra women's bathrooms, which is like,
really?
whoa, that's actually so smart. There's always such a huge line for the women's bathroom compared to the men's in any scenario.
That is
I was
true.
just shocked. Japan was like, okay, then we'll make more women's bathrooms to fix that problem. Like, it was so simple. I know in America it would probably turn into a stupid political thing, but it made me so happy Japan just implemented such an obvious and straightforward solution so easily
to make it
for
easy.
The gals. The next day we headed over to Universal, which
I
want to
go
down
to
the best amusement
Universal.
park I've ever been to.
Yes.
So they can do amusement parks well. First of all, Universal Japan is way more anime and manga focused than the ones in the States, which made it instantly more engaging for me. Jacob and I both agreed we would window shop for the first part of the day and then buy all the things we wanted as we were leaving so we wouldn't have to lug around a bunch of bags all day. But we immediately saw a little One Piece shop
and they lost it.
We just wanted to wear these One Piece headbands. That's rule-breaking worthy. We also got some towels because, surprise, surprise, it was freaking hot.
Okay,
I know
so
I've
they were
been
sweating.
complaining about the weather here and there, but my lord, it was miserably scorching.
Really?
Japan has such a big culture around staying cool while outside, and I totally get it now. People would be walking around with little fans, ice packs, towels. A lot of women had parasols.
I have to ask,
if we didn't get those towels, we probably could have passed out
like
from heat
Tasha
stroke that day.
Shiraroshi,
Later
them
on, I even ended up
that
getting
live in
another
Florida.
towel. It was a cute
How was
Pikachu
it
one,
comparatively
but I got
to
it
living in
mainly
Florida?
because it was a cloak design. After soaking that thing in cold water and putting it on, my body temperature instantly lowered like 5 degrees. However,
that's
that
good.
meant I was walking around the park looking like this. Back to the awesome
Hilarious.
stuff. We did a bunch of attractions like watch a fun 4D Jujutsu Kaisen show where the seats move around. Went on a super cool 3D VR Spider-Man ride. We tried to cool down by going on a Minions thing called Freeze Ray Sliders that claimed to cool riders down with a blast of chilled mist from a giant freeze
so
ray.
cute.
But we got on and absolutely did not even touch a drop of the mist because it never ended up getting in range of our cart. That felt like an actual tragedy at the time.
Hilarious.
There were a few big roller coasters we wanted to go on, but I get super motion sick and forgot to bring nausea medicine. So no roller coasters for us. But I shall return one day. The park, of course, had a bunch of cool themed restaurants. When I go to Japan, restaurant,
I want to.
There also was a special Sanji one, but we didn't know you needed a reservation.
My daughter would love.
It was awesome, though. I love One Piece. After a few hours of rides and being broiled alive, we decided to fully cool off by going on the Jurassic Park ride. That's just giant splash mountain with dinosaurs. We cooked in line for probably a solid hour, and as soon as we were
an hour, not horrible,
foot inside the ride, it started pouring rain. Now that's just not fair. I don't even understand how that happened, but whatever. We started buying all the stuff.
Did you guys get to at least do the ride though?
For the One Piece live show to begin. Again, please refrain from judging. I am being vulnerable and open here. By the way, as we were walking around, we stumbled onto a little Mario themed show just out in a courtyard area. They played some fun little custom songs and had all these dancers alongside the mascots. And then out of nowhere, they started absolutely blasting the crowd with like gallons of water. I didn't even see it coming. It was like firefighters showed up to put out a giant fire, except the fire was a bunch of Japanese people. The time came and we got to file in for the special One Piece live show.
They're excited.
And even though Jacob and I didn't understand a single part of it because it was all in Japanese, it was awesome. And the costume design was phenomenal. It was a bit unfortunate though because the seats were all in like a half circle formation around the stage. As much as they tried to make the show enjoyable from all angles, it was pretty hard to see the main things going on in the center. My only true complaint though is that Zoro didn't come to our side at all. All the other characters rotated around so we could see them, but Zoro only did it at the very end to take a bow. Also, Mihawk being included would have been nice, but it's okay. By the time we got to enter Nintendo Land, it was like 9 p.m. We got up at 6 a.m. by the way, so we pretty much just rode the Yoshi's Island ride they don't have in the States and headed home because that's all the energy we had left. But even just seeing that, it was miles better than the one in the States. Also, we picked up a little dinner at the 7-Eleven near our hotel.
Yeah,
7-Eleven
Konbini.
is actually awesome in Japan, by the way.
Yes,
and they had a
yes.
few little Chico plushie keychains,
Look
and I
at
bought
it.
them. Just being transparent here. We woke up early the next morning to catch our flight back to Tokyo and hurried over to the Kirby Cafe. Emily actually booked the reservation for us. She was meant to also be there, but she was only able to get 2 seats and gave them to us as a gift.
Oh,
Emily, I will always be indebted to you for your sacrifice.
Aw.
The cafe itself was so well decorated with all these little Kirby things, and the menu was adorable. I got the star curry and a magical little fruity drink with the Kirby marshmallow that triggered my cute aggression. Jacob got a pizza and a Kirby burger, but since he made modifications, the staff asked him to not post a picture of the burger to the public.
Oh,
They didn't
wow.
know he was a content creator or anything. I guess they just didn't want the public to see a naked Kirby burger. We also both got desserts.
no.
I already decided I was gonna consume the Kirby. The presentation was beautiful.
Oh, it's like
was
a
literal
car
art on a
Kirby.
plate. Taste-wise, it was decent. The body was some sort of gelatin, which I wasn't too crazy about, but the rest was super tasty. I did my best, but he ended up looking like he was in a horrific accident when I threw him the towel. The cafe also has a special little private store connected to it. And yeah, what you expect happened.
Yes, they bought
definitely
stuff.
happened.
They
we
bought
left
stuff.
with full bellies and bags, continued to look around the shopping center the cafe was connected to, and ended up walking into a gacha store. I am about to be very vulnerable with you here.
Oh,
this
dear.
is one of the lowest points of my entire life.
Oh, wow.
Please don't think too much less of me after what happened in that gacha store.
What
So I walk in,
happened?
spot Chikawa, beeline it to the machine, obviously. Like I mentioned before, I'm only interested in Chikawa, so I was only playing for him.
He's
But
so
by the
cute.
cursed luck of the gacha gods, I just could not get him. I was going back and forth between the machine and the coin exchange,
How
getting
much
multiples of
did
every
you
other little
spend?
guy, but no Chikawa. I could feel the workers' glances at me, probably because
goodness.
the desk they were standing behind was right next to the machine I was grinding. But after way too much money,
Oh, dear.
he dropped. I got my well-earned, horribly priced at that point, Chikawa. I then
He's
started
so
looking at
cute.
all the other machines,
I
putting
gotta
some
look-
coins in a few here and there.
I gotta
until
look at what
stopped
Chikawa
one
is.
that had a line of animals playing band instruments.
They're
They were very
adorable.
silly, but there was a little pigeon holding up cymbals,
Oh.
and I really wanted to get him for Jordan and Kelsey. In went the coins. Tiger,
Okay.
elephant, fox. It was happening.
I have
again.
to go to one of these
Everything
gacha machines in
except the one
Japan.
I
My daughter would
wanted,
love the
which
things in
I know
there.
more or less
Me too.
that's the luck with gachas, but it was getting to the point
like,
where I was
gotcha.
getting surprised the pigeon was dodging me as much as it was.
Wow.
Surely the next one. What? Eventually, I had to go back to the coin exchange, and as I was about to put in more money, I saw out of the corner of my eye one of the workers peek out and take a look in horror at all the gachapons that were sitting at the top of my bag. They then raised up their hand and said something in Japanese while shaking their head.
What does
and
that
I
mean?
knew in my heart I was being cut off.
Oh,
No,
wow.
please, I can stop whenever. Just a few more hits and I'm done. The
Oh.
pigeon is next. I can feel it.
Oh,
why,
my
Why do you
goodness.
look afraid? What's under the desk?
What?
I got kicked out of a gacha store.
Oh.
I had hit an all-time
What?
low. I told my friends and they said they probably just thought I was gonna try and resell them, but I don't even know if that would even make it sound better, knowing I was getting so many that they thought I was robbing them blind. I just wanted my little Chico.
Oh my goodness, they kicked
we made
her
dinner
out?
plans that night with a friend, and we were just about to grab a taxi and head back to freshen up, but
Mm-hmm.
Jacob and I caught sight of a fun anime and goodies shop.
Oh, dear. Look at this.
Who
See
do
the
we think we are?
drool.
People with self-control. We'll make it quick. We rushed in and split up for optimization. As I was
Okay.
looking around, I saw it. A whole section dedicated to Chico. It was like someone put a freshly baked pie on a windowsill, and I was
She was
suddenly floating
floating.
over to it. My
Ugh.
eyes were zoned in, making sure I saw every single thing possible, putting Chico after Chico in the basket.
Look at her
Jacob
going
eventually came over
crazy.
and showed me a picture he took on his phone. In my tunnel vision, all my eyes registered was that the picture showed more Chico in the store. I immediately went feral. Where? Jacob's eyebrows went up in surprise and maybe a bit of fear.
What?
And as I looked at the photo again, I
What?
realized Jacob wasn't showing me a picture of a different Chicoa section. He was showing me a picture of me at the current Chicoa section I was standing in because he thought it was funny. And in my Chicoa brain rot,
crazy.
I didn't even register I was in the picture. I just saw more Chicoa and went obsessive. This is how I am. Either stand by me or leave. No, I don't need an intervention. Put it away. We left. I looked longingly at the crane machine Chicoas we didn't have time for, and we made it in time for dinner. Plus, we ended up in another arcade nearby anyway, and I got myself a Chicoa from one of those machines.
She's so cute. I gotta look up Chicoa.
We were reaching the end of our trip. We spent the last day grabbing lunch with Emily and Didas. There was a cool One Piece scavenger hunt event going on, so we also did that with them. We basically had to walk around Shibuya and find special One Piece trading card posters hidden around the area.
Cool.
And if we found enough, along with the special card of the day, we could get a limited edition mystery card. It was fun, but also hot.
Okay.
And all my clothes were sticking to my body. Didas generously let me borrow his umbrella, and I jumped for joy as he showed me it was coincidentally Chicoa.
Really?
I don't know what's wrong with me. All I know is that bear makes me happy.
I have to look up Chicoa.
The scavenger hunt, got our special cards, and bid them farewell. Always good to see you guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, because they're over there.
I accidentally stole Didas' umbrella. It looked so calculated. They knew how much I was obsessed with Chicoa. They've been watching my Instagram stories. Follow if you want to see brain rot in real time. Emily, I have the Chicoa umbrella. I didn't mean to steal it, I promise. It's not what it looks like.
Oh my goodness.
Since we were leaving in the morning and wouldn't be seeing them again, they just let me keep it. But the side-eye Jacob gave me the rest of the way back.
You stole that umbrella.
Stop it.
You stole that umbrella.
Reality hit us hard. We needed just a few
more suitcases. Yep. How many did y'all? How many did y'all total?
We ended up buying 6 extra suitcases to hold everything we collectively bought. And even then, it was a struggle making it fit. Jacob ended up going professional Tetris mode, perfectly fitting everything into the suitcases with quite literally no extra room to spare. We came to Japan each with a backpack, carry-on, and 1 extra big suitcase, and we're leaving with altogether 8 suitcases and 4 backpacks. We were lucky the taxi driver had a big enough car to fit everything because we didn't have much of a game plan if it didn't. Off to the airport we went, where we checked all of our excessive bags, paid a couple fees, boarded our flight, and headed home. That trip will go down as one of the best trips I've ever gone on. It felt like it turned into a celebration of everything that makes me me. All of my hobbies and interests, Pokemon, One Piece, at the last minute Chicoa. We got to do so many incredible things and were given so many opportunities I'd never even thought I could be a part of. I got to see so many friends that are normally so far away, ate some of the best meals of my life, and overall was just really happy. Especially getting to spend it all with my best friend Jacob. By the way, if you wanted to know why in the world we got so many things, yes, a lot of it was for us. 90% of it all was for our friends. 100% of the Chicoa stuff was mine, but that's besides the point. If you want to see what we got them, also credit where credit is due. The majority of it all was from Jacob, because he's a great gift giver and even more incredible friend to the people around him. We're all nothing short of lucky to be able to call him our friend. You can go watch his Japan video. I assume it's already up, because we had to animate a freaking 30-minute long video. My god, it was a lot. Thanks for sticking around.
Of course.
Yeah, I just had an unforgettable trip, and I owe the opportunity to the Pokemon Company for inviting us to Japan in the first place.
Yes,
I'm
that's
extremely
fire.
lucky to be in the position I am, and will be forever grateful.
Pikachu! Aw, that's very sweet. A, I really want to go to Japan. B, I've got to look up Chicoa because I love fat, chunky things. I have an axolotl from Squishmallows, and this thing is ginormous. I freaking love that thing. Chicoa. Hold on, I'm not even finding it. She said it was Chicoa, right? Is that what it was called, Chicoa? Yes, I've been diagnosed since this video. Thank you for asking. Hilarious. But wait, it was called Chicoa, right? Hold on. Because I think she had... Did I spell it wrong? Okay, this is what it looks like. I don't know what any of that is. Hold on, did I not spell it right? Is it Chigawa? Keeps asking me if I mean Chihuahua. Look at images. And it's showing me a bunch of pictures of Chihuahuas. Chihuahua, right? That's what she said. Maybe it's a K. Chihuahua. Oh, it's a K. And it's 2 eyes. This thing is so cute. Look at this thing. Hold on, can I click and see? Oh, wait, guys. Look at this thing. It's so cute. Do you see him? He's adorable. Oh, he's so cute. I love cute Pushins. Are you kidding me? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Like plushies. I've got a bunch of you know what? Let's not talk. This isn't about what I have. This is not about all the things that I have. We're talking about her addiction, her problem, not my problem, her problem. Okay. All right. They're adorable. I'm going to have to, I mean, they're all right. They're cool. I'm not going to search them and add to my thoughts or problems about them. They're cool. Cool. Her getting to go on this trip is fire. I'm really happy for her. The experience that she got to have is amazing for her and Jacob. It's hilarious that they kept getting lost on their trains, but also it's a whole other country with a whole other language, you know? It's okay. I understand. I would want to go out to Japan, and I would want Sunday Love to curate the trip for me, because I definitely want to do the scenic stuff. I want bomb food, and I feel like she would know where to go, right? And that's what I would rely on. I'm so happy for her. So happy for Jaiden. That's really cool. Kudos to you. I'm happy you got to be a part of something like this and got to experience these things. And doing 3 weeks, I think, is a solid amount of time. Like 2 to 3 weeks makes sense. Business class, boo, is the ish. Girl, this just makes me want to plan a trip to Japan. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think of like her trip, her experience, her addiction, okay? Which, listen, I'm not going to falter. I'm not going to be the kettle calling the pot black. That's not going to happen right now. But let me know your thoughts. Links down below to become a member or patron to get the uncut reaction to all the shows we check out. I love you guys as always. And until next time, buddies. Toodles.